Hello, my name is Gyles Brandreth. Susie Dent, what's your name?
It's E.T.'s Undies. That's a good anagram of my name.
What is your full name?
It is Francesca is my middle name, but
so
I
it's
don't really
Susan Francesca
use it.
Dent.
Yes.
Your parents were Dents.
Yes.
My name is Gyles, wait for it, Daubeny
Oh,
Brandreth.
that's beautiful.
Well, I don't know. It's not a good name. But
Daubeny
let me
is
explain, in
Shakespeare.
case somebody's coming into this podcast for the very first time. I love words. That's really why I'm here. I love words. I love language. I believe that language is power. I've been a word obsessive, virtually a wordaholic all my life, and for a reason I'm going to explain in a second. But Susie has authority because she is trained in the world of words, aren't you? What is your qualification to be a word person?
Well, I'm not sure I am totally qualified. It's just experience rather than qualification. So I studied French and German at university. So German and French, they were my first loves. Came to English quite late, worked at Oxford University Press for a long time, even while I was doing Countdown, and worked on the English dictionaries. But I wouldn't say I've got millions of qualifications. I just have been immersed in language since the age of 4.
Well, what I thought would be fun to do today's podcast is have fun with words, because this is all about words, language, how to increase your word power, how to use this amazing way we have of communicating with one another, words, in a better, more exciting, more amusing way. We call it Something Rhymes with Purple because something does rhyme with purple. And I used to think that nothing rhymed with purple. I thought that purple was a word like orange, for which there is no rhyme, is there?
Not exact. No, not exactly. I remember talking to Tim Rice, the lyricist, about this, and he had a few up his sleeve, but nothing perfectly rhymes with orange.
Oh, I love playing games with Tim Rice. I know this
he's
is slightly
brilliant at
off-beat.
it.
He is brilliant. He's Sir Tim Rice. He is the only triple Oscar winner I know.
Oh, really?
I know quite a few double Oscar winners, some solo Oscar winners. He's got 3 Oscars. He's a genius lyricist. He's also a delightful human being. And we play word games together. And we were recently playing a fun game in which we were name-dropping, really. And the idea of the game was unlikely couples. Real people you'd introduce to one another. That seemed an unlikely couple. And I told him how at a party not long ago I'd introduced the British comedian Jim Davidson to the distinguished novelist Margaret Drabble. And how they'd got on famously, this unlikely couple, because neither knew who the other was. And I said to him, Tim, can you beat that? And Tim said, I think I can. And he told me that at the 1970 premiere of Jesus Christ Superstar, Tim Rice told me this, he wrote the lyrics, Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the music. At the 1970 Paris premiere of Jesus Christ Superstar, Tim Rice introduced Salvador Dali to Frankie Howard.
That's superb.
Oh, yes, no, Mrs. No, isn't it a marvellous idea?
That is superb.
That is a funny idea, isn't it? Well, we're going to have fun with words. Something does rhyme with purple. Remind us what it is.
Yes, that is the old dialect word herple, admittedly not on the tongue every day, but to herple, spelled with an I, is to limp, to walk with a limp.
Well, we're going to stride into the world of word games now, knowing that nothing rhymes with orange or silver, something rhymes with purple. Let's play word games. I was brought up on word games, and this is really what I wanted to ask you about your grandparents. My father was born as long ago as 1910. And that, of course, was before the age of radio, before television, before the movies had talkies, when families literally made their own entertainment. And my father was brought up in a world where, they would stand around the piano in the parlor singing songs. And what did they do of an evening? They played word games with one another because what else was there to do?
Yeah.
Even the crossword puzzle wasn't invented until the time of the First World War. So when my father was born, you had to make your own entertainment. And so I was brought up on word games. When were your grandparents born?
Gosh.
When were your parents born? Can you remember when your father was born?
My parents were born in the 40s, and I wouldn't say they were huge lovers of word games, but they were great lovers of board games. So we, not so much Scrabble, and I'll come to Scrabble later, but we loved, all the traditional board games, Monopoly, Snakes and Ladders, etc. So many, many happy hours listening to Peter and the Wolf, Prokofiev in the background playing word games. Also, just to come back to your Nothing Rhymes with Silver.
Yes.
This is relevant. Something does rhyme with silver.
Oh.
We could have called our podcast that. It's Milver.
Yes.
It's spelled silver with an M. And it's a person with whom one shares a strong interest in a particular topic, especially that of wordplay. So there you go.
Wonderful. So we're a couple of Milvers.
We are Milver Mavens.
We're Milver Mavens. And if you stay with us, you'll find that in each of the podcasts, we get a trio of words from Susie that you may not be familiar with and that maybe you would want to slip into your vocabulary because they're just brilliant, and she is brilliant. Why don't we play a word game together? One of the ones we played that I got from my maternal grandmother, my Granny Addison, she taught me a word game called Donkey. Do you know this game?
No.
What happens is this. The idea of the game is it's a spelling game, and we build a word together, but you mustn't end the word. You lose a life if you end the word.
How many lives do we have?
You have Donkey,
okay.
but we can do the short version, which is ass, A-S-S. So we've got 3 lives.
Can I just say, disclaimer, for someone who has spent 27 years playing a word game in the afternoons, I am terrible at most of the others. I have avoided Scrabble all my life because people assume I will be superlative at it. I'm not. And of course I'm not because I don't play it. So
we will have a whole podcast about Scrabble because, as you know, I'm the founder of the National Scrabble Championships, and I think I'm the president of the British Association of Scrabble Players.
Okay.
So I shall put you right. Well, there may have been a palace putsch, a coup, between
in your absence,
the making of this podcast and it's being disseminated around the world. So, Donkey is a word game that people can play. You can play it, as it were, on the tube going in. If your podcast is broken down, you actually got to communicate with somebody. You can play it with strangers. You can play it with your kids. It's intergenerational. It's a game to play in the car. It's a spelling game.
And you will know the words which are pitfalls, which have sort of common traps, I would imagine.
If you've played it a few times, maybe, but maybe not. You've got, the whole Oxford English Dictionary rattling around in your head.
Yes, you have. I'm going to cheat.
So, no, don't cheat.
Okay.
The idea is 3-letter words don't count. You mustn't be the person who ends a word, and you've got to be thinking of a real word at the time. Okay, here we are, the Milver Mavens, giving it a go with the game Donkey.
Okay.
I'm going to begin. D.
A.
U.
G.
H.
T.
E.
R.
Daughter!
Oh, no.
Hey! You're out. Boom, boom, you've lost a life. You're an ass.
You know where I was going? I was going with the adverb. I was going to say totally. That's where I was going with that.
No, she's lost. You mustn't end the word. Oh, this is more fun than I realised.
I had nowhere to go with that.
You had nowhere to go. I don't think you did have anywhere to go.
I don't think so, no.
You start the next game.
Right. You have to think about the number of letters, don't you? So you can
Look,
all right,
how many words are there in the dictionary?
Thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. That's 500,000. M. O.
T.
T.
L.
Is there no double? There's no MOTT as a word.
Don't think so.
Good.
I've got this.
Okay.
Well, mind you, in the historical dictionary, anything's possible. No, I don't think so. I think you're right there.
M-O-T. Have I said, what did you say?
I said...
You said M-O-T-T. I've said T.
L.
Oh, my goodness. I...
Have you got a word in mind here?
Mottling.
Ooh.
You challenged me. Therefore, if there is a word, mottling, you lose.
Of course there is, because we're allowed verb inflections, aren't we? So that's from mottle.
Yeah, as in something
very
mottle,
good.
mottle skin. So you are now an AS. Oh, I'm about to win this, because if I win, if you lose 3
I've
lives.
got N now, haven't I? Did you have L or I? This is going really well.
I'm sorry. It's over.
Why?
Because you challenged me.
Oh,
You challenged me, and it was a
I
false
see.
challenge.
Grief.
You failed.
All right. I'm
Come
losing
on.
my lives. I'm on O already. Right now, we're moving on to N now.
No, we're playing AS, so I'm going to go 3 rounds with this. So you're AS, and you've got 1 more life, all right?
All right.
Start again.
P.
N.
E.
U.
M.
A.
T.
I.
Oh. No, I want to do something clever here.
You mad.
I know where you're going. N.
challenge you.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I told you I was
She
rubbish at
couldn't
road
accept
games.
the defeat with
Well,
pneumatic.
no, I can. I was going to do pneumothorax, you see, but it was
were
my
you?
turn.
What would
and then-
pneumothorax have given you? That's interesting. Well, if it's there,
Yeah. Sadly, I don't think there is. No, there isn't.
what did you think pneumothorax was?
In terms of what it means.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's an anatomical term, isn't it? Which I'm now furiously looking up.
So pneumatic.
Pneumatic,
is the
I
word
get
I
there.
was
It's the
thinking
presence of air or gas in the pleural cavity. That's where I was going with that one.
But it wouldn't fit with the letters, is that right?
Well, it wouldn't know because you.
I forced you down the wrong path. So you see, that's the idea
It's
of
very
the game.
clever.
It's quite a fun game.
And I'm terrible at it.
No, you're not terrible at it. I've been playing it for 60 or more years.
Yes.
You,
But
frankly,
you actually have to calculate word length before you start, don't you?
but not before you start, because it could go in any.
I suppose that's true.
When you get to about letter 4 or 5 is
Yeah.
when you start playing. Let's do another one here. And this one I think you'll find easier. It's called Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the idea is and this is a very good game. How well do you sleep?
Not brilliantly, if I'm honest.
This is the game for you.
Okay.
Because
This is the word game called
when
sheep.
I mean, do you have difficulty getting to sleep,
No.
or do you wake at 6 in the morning and then can't get back to sleep,
No, I wake about 3 in the morning.
and then can't get back to sleep?
Yes.
Getting to sleep's okay.
Pre-dawn grief.
What time do you go to bed?
Well, my youngest gets up very early, so I tend to be asleep by 10.
Fine.
It's very boring for our
No,
listeners.
no, it isn't. Because no,
Nighttime habits.
No, everybody. Forgive me. Everybody has sleep issues.
Yeah.
Everybody. You get to bed. Do you wear socks in bed?
No.
Oh, you sleep
I
bed
don't
with
tend to wear
socks.
anything in bed. Okay.
But I wasn't
Socks.
asking
So
about
socks
anything.
help you sleep.
Yes, socks. You've cozy toes. Cozy toes is what you need. And you sleep on your side or on your back?
Aside.
Yep, that's okay. So you sleep on your side, and then getting to sleep is relatively easy at 10. Yes, you go fairly deep. And then you wake at 3.
Welcome to the sleep podcast.
No.
Yes.
No, you wake at 3.
I wake at about 3.
And then you go to the loo, and then you come back to bed and lie there wide awake.
I just lie there and.
And what are you worrying about?
Oh, you know, everything gets
Susie Dent?
magnified.
It
Actually,
does.
genuinely, there's not one consistent thing. There's a great word for this, which also can be used for early morning grumpiness, and that's Matutolypea. Which is really hard.
Matuto?
Matuto meaning morning.
Yeah.
Lypea, Lypea.
LYP.
And it's grief of the dawn. And I like to apply it to that sort of terrible anxiety that you get when you wake up really early.
Matutolypea. Matutolypea.
Grief of the dawn, yeah.
Matuto. It sounds like also somebody's name. Oh, I knew her once. Matutolypea. Matutolypea means fear of the dawn.
Yeah, well, it means grief. It's melancholy.
Grief.
of the
It's
dawn.
melancholy. So you have the middle of the night blues.
Yes.
You're not alone, can I say?
No, I'm sure.
Millions around the world listening to this saying, "Yeah, we're with Susie Dent. We're with Susie Dent."
So word games can help.
Now the point is this:
Okay.
what do you do in those circumstances? You want to get to sleep. The stomach is churning. The head is churning. Everything, as you say, is completely exaggerated. You lie as still as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You do 2 things. You breathe slowly in and out. You then, like pushing clouds out of the way, you push all extraneous sounds out of your head. Everything you push away. You actually physically do it. You push everything away. And then you play Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha is this little game where you go from A to Z thinking of words that begin and end with the same letter.
Oh.
And you try to get longer and longer words every night. So let's say you were going to begin with
Anaconda. That's
A. Anaconda. That's better than mine. I was going to go with amnesia.
Okay, I like that.
No, but anaconda's an animal, a kind of snake.
Snake, yes.
Amnesia is something you want to forget.
Yes.
So sometimes it's quite fun to play the game using words that are relevant. Amnesia, you want to forget the things you've been worrying
Amnesia
about.
is the act of forgetting, isn't it?
Yeah, whereas anaconda, maybe it's that just tells you the kind of nightmares you're having. A snake is coming to eat you. The anaconda. So I'm simply sleeping. Anyway, so then you get to B, a word that begins and ends with B. The longer, the better.
I can only think of Baba Ganoush, and that doesn't work anyway.
Doesn't work at all.
No.
Baba Ganoush is not, it's got to end with a B.
Yeah. Baobab.
Baobab.
Yes, B-A-O-B-A-B.
B-A-O.
Yeah.
B-A-B. B-A-O. Baobab. And what does it mean?
Baobab is a tree, also called monkey bread or the Ethiopian sour gourd.
I like it. And how many letters is that?
6.
6. Well, you get 6 points, which
Oh,
is good. You see, because we
see.
can do it competitively.
Okay.
Because this, by the way, if you're not sleeping alone and you've got somebody else lying next to you who's also awake, suffering from Matutolypea,
Matutolypea.
because they've got dread, fear, or middle of the night depression, you can keep each other company by playing the game competitively. So, so far I would be one ahead because I think Anaconda, you might be one ahead. Maybe one letter longer than amnesia. Amnesia is 7 letters long. But with my word, bedaub.
Oh, nice.
It's the same number as you, so 6. So we've each scored 6.
Okay.
Okay. C.
I'd go for the Irish crack.
Crack. C-R-A-K.
No, C-R-A-I-C.
C-R-A-I-C. It's an Irish word meaning...
Crack. It's just, the crack.
The crack. It means
It's great.
the
It's
humour.
the fun, it's the amusement.
It's the atmosphere in the room.
Yeah.
We went to the party. Great crack.
Yeah.
It's a lovely word, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's an Irish word?
It's an Irish word. I famously declared very loudly on Countdown that I love crack. Meaning, of course, that I love that word. But anyway, that's another story. Yes, that's mine, but it's only 5. I'm not sure that's
And
very
is
good.
there a funny accent on the I in crack? Could there be sometimes in Irish?
Yes, there is in the Irish. There's a diacritic above there, but not in English.
Well, you've scored 5 there. I'm going to try and beat you
I'm sure you will.
with cyclonic.
You've practiced this.
Yeah, I have practiced this,
Cyclonic.
to be honest. I get 8 points for cyclonic. C-Y-C-L-O-N-I-C. D, what's the longest word you can think of, beginning and ending with D? And you can see when you're lying in bed, this is quite fun to do this, because the alphabet is there. You're climbing the stairs, and it forces other things, all those traumas, all the, the worries about the mortgage, and should you have taken out the second mortgage, and the person lying next to you. God, why are they lying next to you? What did we get into? Oh, dear. Can this go on for much longer?
Discombobulated.
Brilliant.
But there must be longer verbs. You just need a past tense, basically, don't you?
Oh, my goodness. I only had dedicated.
Oh, okay. Oh, I might have won this then.
Dedicated, desiccated, discombobulated wins it completely.
Excellent.
Discombobulated.
One.
You have moved into the lead. E is for what? Beginning and ending.
Erudite.
Very good. I've got everyone. F. F.
Well, that's hard.
F.
I can only think
Not
of
that hard.
Faff.
Oh, what's faff? As in faffing
Faffing
about?
around.
That's a legitimate word. Where's it come from?
Yeah, it's only 4. I don't think we know, actually.
Really? I love it where there are words where the etymology is unknown.
Yeah, it says etymology. I'm looking the OED, as always. Oh, no, they do know, actually. This is lovely. It's from the dialect faff, meaning a puff of wind as the noun, or the verb to blow in sudden gusts.
Oh, to faff.
To faff.
So it's a proper word
So
going
it's to
back.
flap idly in the wind, isn't it? To faff about.
And it's been going along for how long with the word?
1570.
How wonderful. The word faff, which sounds so modern, is in fact goes back to the 16th century.
Yeah.
Shakespeare was faffing.
I think faffing about, though,
Is more
to
recent.
fuss or dither is, yes, 1874.
The joy of knowing you, if I may say so, Susie Dent, is
Well,
you...
this is from the OED.
I know,
yes.
but you are the conduit of the OED. And I think this other word you introduced me to, which I knew the word bumf, B-U-M-F.
Yes.
The origin of that, because at school we always talk about paper as being bumf.
Okay,
Pass
I
the
just
bumf.
have to tell listeners the kind of the trajectory that our conversation took. Before we came on air, we were talking, as one does, about arse ropes. Arse ropes being a very, very old word that was used in the Bible, translation of the Bible, which meant the intestines, and I absolutely love it because it's just so direct.
So it's an old
I'm
word
having
for the
problems with
intestines.
yes, arse ropes.
My arse ropes.
I'm having problems with my
arse
arse
ropes are letting me down.
Yes.
Or my arse ropes are terribly knotted.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Anyway, so from arse ropes, we then went to arse wisp, which used to be a sort of synonym, I guess, or a slang for loo roll.
Or
toilet paper.
Or lavatory paper, whatever.
Toilet paper, yeah.
Exactly.
Arse wisp.
Or bathroom stationery, as I believe in refined circles in the 1950s it was called. Oh, have we run
Bathroom
out? Yes, have you not heard that? Oh, we've run out of bathroom stationery. Anyway, you call
No,
it... whereas in your house they were saying, oh, the arse wisps.
The arse wisps. Yeah. We weren't actually saying that. But anyway.
Play
so
some more
from
Peter and the
arse
Wolf,
wisps,
would you? I'm looking for the arse wisps.
Anyway, let me finish. So from arse wisp, we came to bum fodder. And bum fodder was, particularly in the army, that was slang for toilet paper.
Correct.
And from bum fodder, we get bumf, i.e. completely inconsequential bits of information.
This is why the world is turning to something rhymes with purple. I mean, no, it is, because where else would you discover that? You really wouldn't. Okay, so we've got down to F. The word beginning and ending in F. You're beginning to doze off now.
No, I said faff. Am I beginning to doze
Faff is good, no.
Okay.
You're supposed to, because it's getting you to sleep. My word is a bit longer, fluff.
Oh, nice.
Which I
I hope
quite
someone's
like.
keeping tally here.
Yeah, I'm keeping tally, and we're neck and neck. G next.
Gee. Oh, I keep coming up with the short words.
You can share them.
Well, it would be glug, but...
I like that. I'm
I
graduating to something better.
Oh, yeah.
Graduating.
Oh, of course.
Which is...
Verbs.
That's 10 letters.
Yes, okay. Can I change my mind?
Yep.
Guzzling, then.
I like guzzling. That's very good. Would gas guzzling be allowed as one, or has it got a hyphen in it?
Don't think so. I think for
that's
that I need
longer,
to look
isn't
in a modern dictionary, actually. Do you want me to do that now?
Nah, because it's bound to have a hyphen, isn't
I think it would.
H, beginning and ending in H.
Huzzah!
Huzzah. That's an exclamation.
Hyphening gas guzzler. Huzzah, yes.
And
Hurrah, huzzah.
And where does that date from?
That is, I love this definition in the Oxford English Dictionary. Huzzah, to shout, huzzah.
Huzzah!
It's from 1683. They are carousing and huzzahing like mad devils with their roaring companions.
Well, I've got a hunch you're right.
Okay.
Hunch.
Hunch, nice.
Get it? H-U-N-C-H, but it's shorter than yours. Mine is only 5 letters, whereas huzzah, I think, is 6.
Okay, should we
Very
stop
good.
there? Bit worried about I.
You may have to stop there because can you think of one for I? Because I can't. And when I play this game,
What's the plural of ibis?
I'm almost always asleep before I get to the letter I.
Oh, how nice. I love that. Leave that one with me. Might try
Okay.
and come back to
That's
it.
okay. And I can't come up with J either.
I'd love to say zhuzh because no one ever knows how to spell
And
zhuzh.
how
I'm
do you
asked about
spell
that all the
zhuzh?
time. Well, the
Zhuzh.
dictionary will give you Z-H-U-S-H, but I don't think it does it. I
So
don't think
you-
that does the trick.
So you can have that little debate. Now, one of the problems with getting to I and J when you're is that if you get to take it too seriously, your stomach begins to churn. You think, my goodness, have I got these? So I then I know that there's no an I and J in my book, so I go straight on to K, and I have kayak, and then I do L. I have longitudinal, and I can do
Nice.
them. I can do them for lots, right the way down to Q, which there may well be a Q word, but I don't know it. Okay, so.
I
Can you
like
think-
that game.
Fate. Can you think of anything with Q?
Not off the top of my hand.
No, I can't think. I've got regulator for R, succinctness for S, tournament for T, nothing for U, nothing for V, window, nothing for X, yellowy for Y, and the joy is the last letter, and this by then you are asleep, Z.
Yes.
And that's allowed, isn't it?
Yes.
As a word.
Yeah, here we go. I've got something for you. Sorry if I sound distracted. I love this. Have you heard the word ululate? Ululate.
Ululate, yes.
Or ululate, yes.
Yes. And that's
Either or.
that's making a sound, isn't it?
It is.
Ululating. But how does it end in U?
Well, it doesn't, but the actual noun from it, ululu, is a wailing cry or a wail of lamentation.
A ululu. A ululu.
Ululu. It says ululu, ululu, ulalu, ululu, or ulalulu.
You do that so charmingly.
I know, that's my pronunciation guides. I think I've got.
I
got
bet
those.
you, when you start playing this, I've solved your problem. I've solved
No, you've
Susie
got me all
Dent's
excited now.
insomnia. Well, that's solving a problem as well.
Well, but that's not
Can I
going to help
say?
me go to sleep, I think.
I think you will find playing this game in bed, going from A to Z, words that begin and end with the same letter, is fun. It's educational. We didn't know ululu before now.
No.
And we've got ziz as well. We can work out the spelling of zhuzh. We learn a lot.
Yes.
So don't fall asleep immediately. Just remember that game for late tonight when you are suffering from Say it once more.
Matutolypea.
Good. I love word games, and I did a book with my daughter and grandson called The Lost Art of Having Fun. And we put in it dozens and dozens and dozens of word games, and they're fun to play with the family, and I think they're particularly good for people who suffer from insomnia. The other one I love doing, and I'm just going to give you one little test on that, is I love playing anagrams. And I just take a word and you have to rearrange the letters. Give me a country. I'm going to give you the word regalia, and you've got to give me a country made from the letters in regalia.
Algeria.
Well done. That didn't take you long, did it? You're so clever. What about Englander? What would that give you?
Englander.
Englander. Rearrange it to give me a country.
Something land. Greenland.
Greenland. That's very good, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've given you 2 of those. Give me 3 of your words. What are your trio for today?
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with the word giggle mug. actually, if you don't mind me saying, Gyles, I think you might be a bit of a giggle mug.
What's a giggle
A
mug?
giggle mug is somebody who is forever smiling, but there's a catch. So this is where I apologise in advance. But a giggle mug is somebody who has that smile on their face all the time and actually is really annoying.
Oh,
I'm not saying
Thank
I'm
you
not saying
very
you're really
much.
annoying, but when you're not actually feeling it, and then
do
you
know.
bump into somebody who's just permanently cheerful, and you just think, oh, you're such a giggle mug. Anyway, I just love that word.
People
but I'm
dread
not saying
coming round to my house because they think I'm going to be wearing a party hat and inviting them to play party games.
it's great. Your glass is always helpful. I like that one. So that's a giggle mug for anybody who, as I say, is constantly chirpy and actually might send you in the other direction. So apologies for that.
Or might have a broken heart. You know the famous story
The
about
giggle mug.
about the clown Grimaldi.
No, I know the clown.
Joseph Grimaldi was a great English clown and famous in pantomime, early pantomime, around the 1800s. And he was probably the most famous entertainer in Britain in the day. And it was hilarious. Filled the Drury Lane Theatre. Thousands of people came to see and laugh at him. But unfortunately, he suffered himself from depression. And famously, he went to see a doctor who he'd never seen before. He recommended a doctor, and he went to see this doctor and said, hello, I'm really unhappy, I'm suffering from depression, and went through all his problems. And the doctor said, well, I don't know how I can help you. I mean, you know, how to cheer you up. I suppose I would recommend you go and see the great Grimaldi. And he said, I am Grimaldi.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah. So there we are. So there may be reasons we giggle mugs are the way we are.
Yes.
Or it also may be that we're just generally happy, because what are we
Well, I
going to
think
be
that's
unhappy
lovely.
about?
I think that is lovely. And I'm just being grumptious about it all. Right. Okay. So I was just wondering whether to sideswerve my planned second word and give you coulrophobia, which is a phobia of clowns, because I think I do have it.
How do you spell that?
It's COU.
COULRO.
LRO. Phobia. Very specific
What's
fear
the
of
origin
clowns.
of this?
Well, I think because
Coulro.
the Greeks didn't have clowns as such. I think it comes from the Greek for just a sort of entertainer, possibly, sort of trapeze artist, that kind of thing.
People have a real terror of clowns.
Johnny Depp famously has real.
Really?
Yeah, and I did too. I hated them when I was little.
And these are the clowns in makeup, as it were. This is not.
Yeah, these are the ones with the
these are
kind
not
of
funny
evil
people.
smiles, I find, who make lots of noise.
And who are wearing clown makeup, sort of white
yeah.
face and red nose and sort of strange eyes.
Yeah.
The funny costumes, the
Stephen
huge
King,
feet.
you don't have to think about Stephen King to know that they're utterly terrifying. Coulrophobia. Okay, so that's my last minute.
And also, they don't make you laugh. When I was a
too
child,
loud, too
people
many
listened
bangs.
on the radio to something called the Goons. I listened week in, week out. Didn't laugh once.
No, it's kind of slapstick though. Don't you think it's verbal slapstick? I'm not really into slapstick, I think.
It just did not make me laugh. Anyway.
Do you know slapstick comes from the fact that clowns actually did slap a stick on their thighs in order to make a sort of noise?
I think I did know that.
Yeah, there you go.
And also, I was taught by an elderly actress, because I used to be an actor many, many years ago. Not very successful, as you know. I've told you the story of the first time I played Hamlet. I've told you this, haven't I?
I don't think so.
Oh, I
Is this a
have.
true story?
It's a true story. It was a disaster. It was a real disaster.
What
I mean,
happened?
no.
How old were you?
Well, I was young. Too young, clearly. But anyway, I played Hamlet. The audience didn't like it. They actually threw eggs at me. Yeah, I mean, they threw
I
eggs
think
at me.
there's a pun coming up here.
Yes, you're
There
right.
is.
Went on as Hamlet, came off as omelette. Boom, boom.
Right.
Anyway, no, the point is, this elderly actress said to me, speaking of slapsticks, that what you need to do if you're an actor is you begin the applause in the wings before you come on. So you begin the
You clap
applause yourself, you clap yourself on, and people join in. If people in the audience clap, on you come. Okay.
All right.
I love that. Coulrophobia.
Coulrophobia. And my last one, little origin for you here. I think of myself as being a slight anomaly, really. I don't know whether that means I'm geeky or nerdy or whatever, but just slightly different. And I'm a bit of a maverick. And I love the story behind the word maverick because it goes back to the name of Samuel Augustus Maverick, who was a US politician, but crucially, he was also the owner of a large herd of cattle in Texas. And he left his calves and his cows unbranded. We don't know why. Perhaps he just thought it was cruel. Perhaps he just couldn't be bothered. But the result was that his cows would wander around into neighbouring fields and nobody knew who they belonged to because he refused to brand them. And so all the neighbouring farmers called him a maverick, really. And he was indeed a maverick by name, but he was also one by nature. And that's how we got maverick in
Do you know,
in the current sense.
one day on our Something Rhymes with Purple podcast. We are going to do dedicate a whole program, whole podcast to people like that. What are they called? Who give
Mavericks?
People who give their name to the language.
Oh, eponyms.
Eponyms.
Yes.
People are eponyms, like boycott.
Nicotine.
Nicotine. Is that named after a person?
Jean Nicot. Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Wellington, as in the boot.
Yes, sandwich. On and on and on.
So many. And in fact, we're talking about Joe Grimaldi, Clown Joey. People often refer to a clown as a Joey.
Oh, do they? I don't know that.
Oh, I think they do.
I thought they were kangaroos.
But why are they called Joeys?
Because of Joey the kangaroo, of course.
Really?
Yeah, famous kangaroo. No,
You're joking.
No, I am.
But Jumbo does come from Jumbo the elephant.
Jumbo Dumbo. Just Jumbo the elephant.
Jumbo the elephant.
Yes, before Disney.
The word jumbo comes from Jumbo the elephant, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Poor thing, poor creature. Feel sorry for him. Anyway.
When I next see you for our next podcast, say Jumbo to me and I'll tell you something interesting about your name, my name, and anybody's name that has just 5 letters in it.
Okay.
We're leaving you on a cliffhanger.
All right. My name's got 4, by the way.
No, Susie.
Oh, I see. Got you.
Susie. Jumbo.
I think I need some
Gyles.
coffee. Gyles.
You need some coffee. You need less coffee, more sleep.
Less Matutolypea.
More playing of Donkey by Night.
Yes.
This is us. If you've enjoyed this, please, recommend us to a friend or give us a nice review. If you haven't, well, sleep well and just forget it ever happened. Amnesia is a word that begins and ends with A. Something Rhymes with Purple is a Something Else production. It was produced by Paul Smith with additional production from Russell Finch, Steve Ackerman, and Josh Gibbs.